Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning into News 9 Live. I'm Kabir Naqvi and you're watching this broadcast from our studios here in the National Capital Region. Ladies and gentlemen, come each day, this NEET mess is turning into a full-blown national controversy and it's getting murkier with each passing day. The ongoing investigations, they suggest loopholes at different levels. Now, we have an expansive set of news list for you to cover. But first and foremost, we're going to be focusing on the NEET mess because students are out there on the streets protesting across the country, be it Jantar Mantar in the national capital or Coimbatore, like you're seeing on your screens. People, aspirants, relatives, parents, their hopes and dreams shattered because of this results rout 2024, and now, well, they've taken to the streets. The courts are also busy at the same time, and so are various coaching gurus as well. Meanwhile, the Economic Offences Unit, and this is the latest that we're tracking for you, the Economic Offences Unit in Bihar, which is probing the allegations of a possible paper leak in the NEET examinations that were held on the 5th of May, has said that its investigations is quote-unquote suggestive of a paper leak. However, Bihar Police said that it is not yet clear whether the papers which have been recovered by them were leaked or not. If sources are to be believed, the paper was leaked during transportation is what we're picking up. Not only this, Bihar Police has also found burnt question papers. However, there is no confirmation of this by the National Testing Agency at this point in time. 13 people have been arrested in this very regard, and those arrested include relatives of some candidates and brokers as well. Now, this is in sharp contrast with the government's stand on the NEET controversy. Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan on the 13th of June rejected quote-unquote allegations of paper leak in the medical entrance examination, the NEET-UG 2024. He said that there is no evidence to substantiate the claims and added that the government is ensuring no student is at a disadvantage. He, though, added that scrapping of the entire examination, the entrance examination, was unlikely. Before we move on, let's listen in to what Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan had to say.
नीट को लेके एक फैसला आज सुप्रीम कोर्ट की स्तर से आई है। नीट में इस बार 24 लाख बच्चे परीक्षा दिए थे। कट ऑफ डेट में लगभग 13 लाख विद्यार्थी एग्जामिनेशन को क्वालिफाई किए। 4,500 तरीके सेंटर नीट एग्जामिनेशन के लिए देश भर में होती है। 4,500 सेंटर देश भर में होती है। अनेक देशों में भी नीट की सेंटर होती है। खाड़ी की देशों में होती है, पड़ोस की देशों में होती है और 13 भाषा में एग्जामिनेशन होता है। दुर्भाग्य से इस बार नीट की 2 क्वेश्चन सेट्स होता है। गलती ना हो जाए इसीलिए चुनाव एग्जामिनेशन के दिन ही सूचित किया जाता है क्वेश्चन सेट ए या बी को यूज किया जाएगा, आइदर ऑफ द वन। इस बार जब परीक्षा हुआ, गलती से आउट ऑफ 4,500 सेंटर 6 सेंटर में गलती से गलत सेट्स ऑफ क्वेश्चन आ गई। जब परीक्षा चल पड़ी, कुछ समय के बाद उसको संज्ञान में लिया गया और उसको विड्रॉ करके फिर सही प्रश्न पत्र दिया गया। उसमें कुछ टाइम लॉस हुई। उन 6 सेंटर में लगभग 1563 स्टूडेंट उसमें परीक्षा दे रहे थे। उनके मन में आया कि भाई ये हमारी साथ थोड़ा अन्याय हुई है, हमारी टाइम लॉस हुई है, हमारे लिए कुछ सोचनी चाहिए।
Well, now the minister earlier tweeted, and I quote, "Central government is committed to protect the interests of NEET examinees. I want to assure the students that all their concerns will be addressed with fairness and equity. No student will be at a disadvantage and no child's career will be at jeopardy." Now, facts related to NEET examination are in cognizance of the Honorable Supreme Court. The central government will take all necessary actions for the well-being of students as per the directions of the Honorable Supreme Court. Counseling process of NEET will be underway soon, and it is of utmost importance to move ahead in this direction without any confusion. I unquote. Now that's Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan. Meanwhile, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister and DMK leader MK Stalin, he on Friday asserted that they have to put an end to what he terms the national eligibility cum entrance test, the NEET scam. The Tamil Nadu Chief Minister took to Twitter and wrote, and I quote, "The union government's attempt to wriggle out of the recent hashtag NEET scam by agreeing to cancellation of grace marks is another admission of their own ineptitude. It should not have been allowed to divert the attention away from the core problems of irregularities and unprofessional conduct of exams after taking away the right of the states." While condemning their incompetence as well as apathy towards agony of lakhs of students, we DMK reiterate that the only solution for this issue is to restore the role of state governments in deciding the method of selection for MBBS courses. I unquote. Another aspect, meanwhile, which has raised eyebrows is how candidates were allocated examination centers according to their own choice. This is a new revelation that has now come to the fold. Another question that has been raised is how grace marks were given to the 1,563 students on account of loss of time. Was permission taken from the governing body of NTA? And who gave the permission to allot grace marks to these candidates in the first place? There are many unanswered questions at the moment, and only after a thorough investigation will the real truth come out. Meanwhile, as you can see on your screens, protests are happening all across the country, including Tamil Nadu. The results of the NEET exam were announced by the NTA on the 4th of June, and ever since, an entire cacophony claiming the only chorus being controversy in the NEET exam, paper leak in the NEET exam, irregularities in the NEET exam. That's why students and the medical doctors and resident doctors are out on the streets. My colleague Deepak Badana is live with us on the broadcast here. Now, Deepak, give us a quick sense of how you're looking at the new, aspect that has now come into the come to the fore. Two prime questions that have been put out. Bihar Police is suggestive that there was a paper leak likely to have been done during transportation. Union Minister says that there is no chance of a paper leak. No investigation suspects that there is a possible paper leak. On the other hand, choice of centers given to the students, and when grace marks in that CLAT examination, when it's clearly mentioned the same will not be used as a blueprint for medical and engineering examinations, why was it done? 24 lakh students in their future hanging in the balance.
So, Kabir, the feeling on the ground is, that there is a genuine feeling that maybe there have been irregularities all along, even in the past years, and that they've only been caught now. Now, when this kind of a sentiment gains widespread currency, it reflects a deep suspicion against, the set procedures and systems. There's also been another U-turn from the Education Minister. Just 24 hours after he claimed that there was no proof of, any wrongdoing, he has now actually said that anyone who's guilty will be punished. So again, there are U-turns from the authority NTA as well. Just like for the past few days, they had been in denial of any mishap that may have occurred during the whole complicated procedure that it takes to conduct this examination. And right on the day when the first hearing took place, the NTA didn't even wait for the arguments. They accepted that, yes, some mistakes were made. So this fuels anger amongst a number of students and their families who are just tired of such uncertainty. And we also interviewed this gentleman called Nitin Vijay, the inspiration behind Kota Factory. Now, this guy, he's a former IIT grad, IIT student. He's gone through the whole process. And he says something which is very interesting. He actually commends NTA for being able to conduct such an examination at such a vast scale. There's no other country in the world where 24 lakh students are assessed via an OMR sheet. Now, according to Mr. Vijay, it is but natural that sooner or later a mistake will happen. The idea is to accept the mistake and to look forward to how to avoid such issues in the future. So something which is deeply distressing is first the denial, and then the acceptance when it seems that the government or the authorities have no other choice.
No, you're right,
So
because
this is
Deepak,
something.
you have been speaking to the students. You visited Kota as well. You were right there at Jantar Mantar when the NEET Satyagraha began. It's still going on over there. But two prime questions that have now come to the fore. Number one being that Bihar में पेपर लीक की बात सामने आ चुकी है, and the second one being that in Godhra in Gujarat, a 10 lakh rupees were allegedly given for the student to select his particular choice of examination center. Clearly tells that there is a deeper rot within the system. Students' sentiments, what were they like? What are they most bothered about? Let's talk about the students as well here.
I think something which is deeply upsetting for the students is that years of hard work, of sacrifice, of toil, blood, sweat and tears on part of the whole family has just gone to waste. That's a genuine feeling among a number of students, and it distresses them because these students are acutely conscious of the great sacrifices their families are making so that they can stand a chance of achieving the dream of becoming a doctor, right? And so there's a lot of pressure to perform. There's a lot of expectation from family and the society at large. And these children are just looking for an opportunity to prove themselves worthy of the ambitions and aspirations of their families as well. So when something like this happens, something for no fault of their own, a lot of hard work just goes down the drain. It really upsets, and it's natural, such a sentiment is but natural. So when I talk to students, you see a number of often conflicting emotions and ideas coming from them. There are students who are just calling for, a re-need. That is, that they want the entire examination procedure to start from zero, right? They say that they have no idea what other things may have gone wrong, and the NTA has only accepted this because they've been caught. The other half, or the other opinion that comes about is, if we conduct the entire examination process again, it will also be unfair to the vast majority of students who have played by the rules.
Right.
And so it will be additional pressure, and not to mention expenses. We must understand that the vast majority of these students actually come from middle class families,
No, you're right.
often lower middle class families.
And it's not just that. There's a double whammy at play because, political parties are trying to, exploit the entire situation, extract as much as political mileage from this. The apex court has come at, with its own interventions. We'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out over here. Deepak,